Hello, my name is Stormy Graham. And when I'm done speaking, I want my audience to be able to know some ways of coping with the loss of a parent. February 13th, 2009, 3 a.m. Ring, ring. I answer. Hello? Junior, mom just passed away. Ladies and gentlemen, that was one of the worst phone calls I have ever received. The death of my mother from congestive heart failure came as a shock to all who knew about it. About 5.1 million people in the United States have suffered from heart failure. 1 out of every 9 of those cases ends in death. Now listen, this speech is not about the cause of her death. It's about the moment and every moment after. For those of you who haven't received that call yet, how many of you have thought, I don't know what I would do if I ever lose my parents? Well, there isn't a right or wrong way to deal with it. I just want to share a few ways that may help some of you here today cope with the loss of a parent. Questions like, what was the most difficult part? And what are some things that will make coping easier? Hopefully, this will shed a little light on this emotional topic. What was the most difficult part? When asked this question, thoughts seemed to ring out like an alarm clock. Throughout the years of my life prior to losing my mother, over 95% of the people I've asked or talked to about coping with the loss of a parent, they've always said, I don't know what I would do if I find. So basically, if you find yourself guilty of making that statement, here's some ways to come out of that. Because I found myself guilty multiple occasions, prior to her death, making that same statement. Missing her physical presence is one of the most difficult part of the process. For those of you who have yet to experience this, just imagine for years seeing and talking to the person that was responsible for bringing you into this world. Then one day, all of a sudden, it stops. The initial emotions inside feel like getting hit with a ton of bricks. Sometimes I would have dreams, and within them, it would be like her death never even happened. The realism and vividness of those dreams of the family sitting around, talking, and laughing together made me not even want to wake up from those dreams. Going home to visit and her not being there made it seem like it wasn't even the home that I grew up in. Seeing my father's reaction was one of the hard things to deal with as well. The look on his face was a total emptiness. We would often talk about the deep feeling of loneliness that he feels. Even to this day, they have been married for 48 years. So according to the American Psychological Association, 40 to 50% of American marriages end up in divorce. So to see them be married for so long and to love each other up until that moment of her death was devastating. Celebrating special occasion is another difficult part of coping. When I would get an award or graduate from a military course, she would be my biggest cheerleader. Now, it doesn't have the same feelings to it. My birthday is one of those that sticks out the most. I can remember waking up in the morning thinking, oh, I can't wait to get that phone call from my mom. Every year, used to call me and sing the whole rendition of the birthday song. Hey, she wasn't no Beyonce or Whitney Houston or even Mariah Carey. But to me, I would rather hear my mom over them any day. So talking about this topic is very necessary. The shock and sometimes overwhelming flow of emotions are things that people need to be aware of. Being that I focus on what making coping difficult, just like anything else in life, it's very important to plan for the inevitable. So let me tell you a few ways I was unknowingly set up to be able to cope with one of the most difficult events a person may go through in their life. Do you think your upbringing enhances your ability to cope? See, this is a very relevant question because it does make a difference on how one's upbringing affects how they handle any and all situations in life. Here are just a few answers to this question that I thought were keys to my ability to cope with a loss. Exposure to death at a very young age. The first death I can remember was my granddad. I was around 7 years old, and what sticks out in my mind was my mom telling me, "He's gone. We all have to go someday." At the funeral, when we did the viewing of the body, I recall getting on my tiptoes and reaching inside of the casket and touching his face. The texture was that of a clam, cold minus the moisture. Additionally, between the ages of 7 and 13, I've lost uncles, aunts, grandparents, cousins, and close friends. So in turn, as an adult, I've learned what to expect after experiencing all of this at a very young age. Values and morals instilled in me at a very young age set the foundation of a positive mindset. My mom taught me the golden rule. Would anybody like to guess what is the golden rule? Now, don't worry about it. We're not going to play the guessing game today. We should all have at least heard of the phrase, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." Phrase once or twice in our lives. Being optimistic was very important in our household as well. We always try to see the positive in any situation, no matter how bad it is. This taught me when you treat people well, there will be no regrets when they pass away. Having a strong connection and bond, as I stated earlier, me and my mom would talk all the time about life, about accomplishment, family, and other trivial stuff that folks may think is not important. It was just the fact that having a communication that build that closeness. You should make an effort to maintain constant contact with your parents. This worked for me because even though she is gone now, I still have so many memories inside my mind. And the warmth that I feel in my heart makes me feel as though she is sitting right here next to me. Now, after all you heard, as I stated before, there is no right or wrong way to cope. What's the most difficult part? Learn to live with the emotions of missing them. Do you think your upbringing enhanced your ability to cope? So just remember, childhood and positive things that you learn, in addition to the morals and values instilled in you. I just want to let you know that you can make it through it. For those of you who are blessed with parents that are still alive, talk to them as much as you can. I'm very fortunate to have my dad still alive and kicking at 79 years old. I make it a point to call him every day, even if it's just to say, "Hey Dad, how are you feeling? How's the weather? Okay, enjoy the rest of your day. Talk to you later." Tell them how much you love them and how much you appreciate them. Don't let another second go by without having an opportunity to share a positive moment. Trust me, I wouldn't mind if some of you popped up and said, "Excuse me, Mr. Graham, I'm going to go make this phone call." I feel this is the key to coping. Having those amazing moments that bring a smile to your face. Also knowing you have done and said all that you can for them. No regrets. So those of you who are coping, continue to be strong. Make it a habit to purposely smile, even if there's no apparent reason. Celebrate those positive memories every day. Feel their presence in your heart and in your mind. And know they are still a part of you, and you are a part of them.